Hello, David Paul here. Good morning. Couple of developments and one big one that I wanted to mention in this video. Well, first of all, the wall's coming on okay. I've got that bit cemented in there and I'll start to progress over here. I've got to level off the all of these floor beams, get them all exactly the same height. The reason for that is they need to be ready to take the wood when I get it. I've been up to Espinal and I have managed to secure wood, although it's very expensive from the sawmill. So maybe use thinner wood or do something like that. I'll think of something so I can get the floor down to sit. It's going to cost €1,200 for the floor, and I can maybe get that down to €600 if I use thinner wood. And get it down to way lower if I use wood and just glue bits together, but I think that's a bit extreme. So anyway, the news of the day, news, plural news. Okay, a little recap. The stairs that I'm walking up, I own these stairs. So the land of my house ends just there at the edge of the stairs, which is not good, because you might want to plant some flowers or bushes at the edge of the stairs, and if I did so, it would create a sheltered area for the winter time where you walk up the stairs and you wouldn't be getting rain on yourself, and also it would help to keep the house warm, because sometimes you do want to be warm in Portugal. And it would also create a bit of shade. Now this here olive tree, which is going wild now, and I like it like that, I'll leave it, is providing a bit of shade. However, when you get up here, the stairs, and then to the end, that's my land. So this is it. So I can come out in the morning, and I can look at this piece of land here, and I don't own it. Okay, so that's not very practical. So if I want to go around to the back of my house, halfway along the house this way, sort of half of the house back, I don't own that land, and then the rest of the land, I do own that land. So that's a very impractical situation. It would be nice to clear out this area here and be able to walk around the back, and also to extend the house and put a toilet which is external to the main living area, so I don't chop up the that big open plan area into little bits. I want to have a very big open plan living room, so I'll be able to do that, and I can still do that, but I won't have any of my land left. So here's the big announcement, the da-da-da-da moment. All of this land here, going back to there, and all the way to there, and where that scrub has been cut down, this is the patch of land which belongs to my neighbour, Mr. Alvar, Senor Alvar. And I've been asking him if he wanted to sell the land, and I wasn't getting any clear answer. So anyway, what I did to avoid any ambiguity, I printed it out on paper in Portuguese for him, printed a sheet of paper and handed it to him. And he's sitting in the pub with his friends and family there, and I gave him the piece of paper, so there's absolute clarity about what I'm trying to do. Do you want to sell the land? And if you do, how much? And if you do, please contact my lawyer, Tanya Nunes. And sure enough, they said they wanted €10,000 for this. And his cousin said, "Oh, he wants €10,000." And I really hate it when people do that. Please don't do that to me, because you'll offend me so much that I'll just walk away. because I hate people who insult my intelligence. This land is not worth 10,000 euros, but it is worth something. And I'm not going to like battle to have this land against all cost, you know. I'll walk away from the deal. And I said, no, I'm simply not paying that. And you know that it's not worth that. So he mumbled to his cousin. He said 1,000 euros. That's where it started. And his cousin started jacking it up. And between the two of them, they said 2,000 euros. And I got an agreement on that at 2,000 euros. So I said, right, we have a deal. As soon as I get back to England and I start doing some work, I'll send over the money. You need to contact my lawyer and I'll get it done in my absence. I find this very frustrating with the Portuguese. They don't take you seriously. Is it because people have never bought things off them? They don't seem to want to sell things, but they don't seem to want to tell you that they're not going to sell you the things. They just seem to like leave things up in the air, you know. But anyway, the good news is this is mine now. I've agreed the deal, and so long as he doesn't change his mind, and if he starts messing around and saying he wants more money, I'll tell him to go to hell, because I'm simply not going to pay that. I think this is a fair price. I'm paying more than I should be paying, but at the same time it means I can get on with this project, because soon I want to have children over here and I want to level this area. I'm going to build a bit more barrier here, and I'm going to level this land into a terrace, and I'm going to, in fact, actually I might not do that. I might just level it. I'll keep the oak trees. It's against the law to chop them down, and I don't care, because I don't want to chop them down. You know, people are always saying, oh my God, you can't chop oak trees down. I don't want to chop oak trees down, you know. I want to plant oak trees. I want them to chop the flaming eucalyptus trees down, literally flaming, chop them down and replace them all with oak trees. The future for Portugal is Dayasugi, Japanese wood consumption, cultivation. Get into that, guys, Dayasugi. Anyway, so the plan is this gets leveled, and I can use it for various things. Probably like I'll have chairs out here and barbecue and such like. I'll put a bit of a barrier here for privacy of things like oleander bushes. I may put oleander bushes hanging over. They're poisonous, but they shouldn't affect the kids, because they won't be able to reach them. It'll just be ornamental and create a bit of a screen. I'll think about that. I'm not absolutely sure. But anyway, this is going to be a bit more private. We're going to sit out here and have our breakfast outside. I'm going to put chairs and tables and couch and all kinds of outdoor furniture here, which I will make myself. And if you think about it, the whole concept, right? You've got the house there, and you've got the garden here. And if you develop the garden and utilize it, particularly in the morning, because the sun's not on this, and the sun's not very severe at the moment, even if you're sitting in it. What you've ended up doing is you've ended up really doubling the size of your house. Imagine that, you can double the size of your house without getting planning permission by using your garden in a more efficient way. You know, I mean, that's an idea a lot of people could consider, using their gardens as outdoor rooms, and, you know, like taking measures to avoid the bad effects of nature, which is basically just flies. And too much sun, well, you can have a parasol type thing. And that's it. So you end up without planning permission or building or construction or anything like that, with a house twice the size of the one that you already started with. It's a no-brainer. A comment on these trees. I would probably want to plant more trees. And the reason why is because when I first stayed here, these trees were really spindly tiny. That fat tree there was about the size of that thin one there. They were like sticks. I would like it if they were a bit straighter, but that's life, you know. I rather like straight trees. But anyway, so when I returned here this year, I was struck by how shaded things were. I thought, oh wow, it's got really no sun on this and it's shaded. And I walked over here, and I'm standing here, and the sun level is about 75% reduced, so it's acceptable. You can sit here. So that begs the question, or suggests the idea, that what you could do in Portugal is plant lots of oak trees in your garden and just create an enormous parasol. You've got the is it a parasol? Yeah, umbrella type thing in your garden to protect you from this severe sun, and it would be a much more agreeable place to live. Now, of course, once you got the trees in, you can then use them to create tensile structures. In other words, tent-like things. So this is just a washing line I put up. But imagine you could run a load of lines all over between all of these trees, and you've blocked yourself in here with all the lines. And then from those lines you hang mosquito net, black mosquito net. And one of the properties of meshes when they're black is they tend to look, they just sort of disappear. If you want to make a fence disappear, a wire fence painted black, you'd be surprised. So anyway, there's all this mosquito net around here, and of course you can sit in this garden now amongst your flowers and in your pleasant environment. Bring your TV set out here on a couch and just relax, have a sleep if you want. Not affected by the sun, and also not affected by mosquitoes or flies, because you've netted them out, as the term is, or you're netted in, you know. So create a huge netted area here, and you've done it. Now, I just thought of something. I want to build a tree house for the kids, and the idea, you can build a tree house without trees. What you do is you build a tree house, and and you just build the tree house, and it's just a shed on the ground, and you plant the trees around it, like I've done in the UK. So in my case, I would plant something which gives a lot of cover, which is Portuguese laurel. So you plant them, and as the trees grow, you jack the house up and up and up till you get to the level that you want to be at. So the house is not supported by the trees, it's supported by stilts. And in fact, my method of making a tree house would be to put it on stilts. So you have an engineered structure that you can guarantee, you know, because you designed it. You don't need to worry about like the performance of the trees or anything. But what you do, you connect yourself to the trees with slack connections. So if anything ever collapses, the tree is like a backup structure for you. Now, I noticed that this guy has been strimming back to here, and he hasn't trimmed that. He hasn't cleared that land there. So I don't own that land. So who the hell does? Or is it that he hasn't cleared the land sufficiently? Does this piece of land run further back? I don't know. What the hell? I've got enough land here anyway, because, you know, as I say, I can then walk over there I want to add an extension to the house which runs backwards, because this is my one shot really in Portugal. I don't know if I've got the energy to be building and redeveloping stone houses, because the work is just brutal, just messing around with concrete. I'm a woodworker, not a stone or metal worker, to be honest. So I'd much prefer to construct things out of wood. And I can do that. I can construct a pavilion, like a long strip going backwards into the land, 1 room wide. So we can have a load of bedrooms there, and it'll be very nice. It faces east and west, and so you can get the sunshine in the morning coming into the house, and then in your bedroom at the night time it'll shine on the other side. So you got it sorted. What else? Well, that's it. That's the news for today, and that's where we're at. Now, in the house, I gathered together all the bits of wood that I've got, and I created this platform where I can put my bed. So I'll be able to sleep there soon. I've got to secure the planks at the other end there to make sure that they don't slide off and the whole damn thing collapses. So I've got to be very careful with this. However, this provides me with a structure that allows me to start fiddling about with the roof and fixing it. So I can get a ladder up here, and if I should fall off the ladder, I don't like heights, so psychologically for me, this height is only like about 10 feet high, max 10 feet high, yeah. So if I fall off, I can land on the bed. And on top of that, I just have the psychological feeling that I just don't like being up at height, and I don't have to feel that, because I could actually work on this roof on a long ladder. But if I fall off the damn ladder, I'm screwed. You know, I could bang my head on these beams, or it's not worth. It's just, not worth thinking about. So let's not do that. So get some movable flooring in here, floor the rest of here, then get up on the ladder and fix the roof. And as I'm standing near that roof, I'm thinking, it's not too bad, that roof. It just wants the tiles that have fallen off, just replacing. Last year, I forgot that I had done this. I worked from behind the house, and I did all of this roof as much as I could by pushing up these tiles back with sticks. And this is substantially intact now, this rear part of the roof. However, the front part isn't good. But, the same amount of effort, probably a couple of days of work, putting tiles back into place or replacing them completely with new types of tiles, will fix this roof. Once we stop rain coming in here, then I can start with the deco. If you look over there, that wall, it's got plaster on it, and the plaster is, it's good. It's good. It's got a good surface on it, so it's obviously been part of a reasonable room, an internal room where people slept in, went to bed or whatever. But I don't understand. I don't understand the way that people lived in this house before, because here there is nothing. So they were cooking here, and they obviously had this stonework here, bare stonework. And they've got these nice bits here, so I guess they were sleeping in there. And I'm told that there was an outhouse outside where you could go to the toilet or something. Okay, so we'll discount that. So maybe there were only 2 bedrooms here, and there were only tiny little sleeping things, and all the rest of it was living quarters. All right. So maybe you ate here and lived here and whatnot. And that begs the question, that wall there is in good condition. Maybe somebody can comment on this, I don't know. That wall's in good condition. And that wall over there has got that crusty looking, it's lime plastered. Oh, I know what it is. It's been lime plastered, but it's never been done nice. Okay. What do we know that's lime plastered but never done nice? Well, this is the same kind of texture stuff. So I guess that poor quality finish there is the same poor quality finish, just with lichen and stuff growing on it, as that over there. So they finished that wall and they didn't invest any more time or effort into it. And I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't a living area. Maybe it wasn't used as a living area. Yeah. Maybe it was something to do with storage. Maybe they brought things up that hole there, that window there, and stored hay here, or God knows what, for the animals underneath. If you were devoting things to other activities, like to the welfare of the animals or whatever, my God, you're going to have a hell of a small house. Maybe they were okay with that, because 90% of the time they were never in the house. They'd have been working outdoors. So I just don't know the answer to that. I did originally think that possibly it was water running down the wall, which had stripped away the lime and so on. That can't be true. That theory can't be right, because the edge there would have been covered with lime wash, which had washed down, and it isn't. It just isn't. So I just got no idea what that means. What the purpose of that room area was. It's difficult to find history of anything. It might have been easier if I was in England to talk to people, but nobody knows the history of all these buildings. And this place stood empty for 55 years before I bought it, and it's now still empty, not occupied anyway, properly. About 2 years later, so it's been standing empty 57 years plus, maybe. So the memory of what went on here, it's all gone now. Well, my wall, I hope to get at least that corner finished today, and bring it out to here, and then leave a wedge there ready for the arch to go in. And simultaneously today I've got to get all this rubble cleared here, so that I can start on the second part of the wall, get that up, and then I've got my central supporting floor. And the jury is out on the floor. The jury is out, for the simple reason I do not know what the hell I'm going to do about the floor, because I don't know where I'm going to get the flaming wood from. I have asked everybody who has any connection with eucalyptus trees. They are chopped down in the forests, they're loaded up onto trucks, and they go out to the mills, and nobody gets a sniff in. So if I can find somebody to sell them, but failing that, I have this company which is going to sell me the floor with huge blocks of eucalyptus, which are machined across, so I can just buy them off them. But as I say, it's going to be expensive. Just so many things I've got to work for. I keep having to teach, and everything gets frozen, you know. I can't, there's no point in working myself to death here, because it doesn't make any difference, because I don't have the materials. So the job can only go at a very snail's pace. Soon I'm going to, when I've got that concrete wall done, I won't be able to do anything more. I'll paint my shutters, put my doors on, and then I'm going to have to start chipping off the cement off the front of the house, because I'll not have any more materials or money or anything to do stuff with. But never mind, it's progress. It's all progress. And you forget about it when you go away and then you come back. And it's kind of like a little surprise. You think, oh, it's like somebody else did it because I've forgotten about it. Okay, well, that's that. And one last look at my beautiful big patch of land. So I'm working a strategy here. You buy a house surrounded by lands, and slowly you buy piece by piece by piece, year by year. You can just extend your range, because you do need a reasonable amount of land to have a small holding, to have a homestead, as they call it in America, or a small holding in the UK. And all of the people I see online on YouTube, they've got way more land than me. So I've got a bit of catching up if I'm going to be like Farmer David Paul. Here we go. Or is it Farmer Newton Scott? I don't know. Okay, so back to the grind. All this has got to be chipped off, and then it'll look in the blue windows and it'll start to look pretty. So, Atilagu. See you later. Jesus be with you.